Have you ever gotten tangled up trying to say no in English? You're not alone. It can feel like a tricky puzzle, but the solution is actually way simpler than you'd think. Today we're going to crack the code on English negatives, and we'll be using the fantastic Practical English Usage by Michael Swan as our guide. So let's get into it.
Here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the number one most important rule. Then, we'll see how to give negative commands and talk about rules. After that, we'll clear up a super common mix-up, and finally, help you dodge the double negative trap. By the end of this, you'll be saying no like a pro.
All right, let's jump right in with the big question that trips so many people up. Why is it that I don't like football sounds totally natural, but I like not football just sounds, well, wrong? The secret is all about a special kind of helper word.
And that brings us perfectly to our first section, the do not rule. Seriously, this is the absolute bedrock of making verbs negative in English, and it all comes down to one special type of verb.
That fancy term is auxiliary verb, but you can just think of them as helper verbs. You know them, words like be, have, and can. Their main job isn't to carry the meaning, but to support the main verb, especially when we want to say no. The process is actually so simple. First, you look for a helper verb. If you find one, you just pop the word not right after it. Easy peasy. But what if there isn't one, like in the sentence, I like football? Well, that's when we call in the superstar of negation, the verb do. It just swoops in to help out. Let's see this in action. We'd never say, I like not football. Instead, our helper do comes to the rescue, and we get, I don't like football. Same thing with she can't swim. Can is already a helper, so we just add ent. Now this last one is a classic mistake. The verb be is its own helper, so you don't need do. We just say the supper isn't ready. Okay, now that we've got the basic rule down, let's build on it. Because once you really get the do rule, giving negative commands, what grammarians call imperatives, is an absolute piece of cake.
So a regular command is simple, right? You just say the verb. Be silly. It's direct, it's clear.
And to tell someone not to do something, you just take our trusty helper don't and stick it right on the front. Don't be silly. It's that consistent. And get this, even with the verb be, which normally doesn't use do, for negative commands, don't is always the magic word.
And hey, here's a quick pro tip on word order. When you use words like always or never in a command, they have to go right before the verb. So it's always remember, not remember always. It's a small tweak that makes a huge difference in sounding natural.
All right, let's level up and get a little more nuanced. We've handled the everyday negatives and commands. But what about when you need to talk about official rules or forbid something really strongly? This is where different helper verbs carry different weights. So let's break these down. Can't is your go-to for informal situations. I'm afraid you can't have more cake. Then you have may not. Think of it as the formal cousin of can't. It's what you'll see on signs. Students may not use the staff car park. And then there's must not or mustn't. This is the heavyweight. It's strong, it's serious, and it means absolutely forbidden. Now, let's talk about a point that causes so much confusion, even for really advanced speakers. It's the huge difference between telling someone something is forbidden and telling them it's just not necessary. And this all comes down to two little words, mustn't and needn't. Okay, lean in for this one because it's important. If I say you mustn't get a visa, that means you are forbidden. Do not do it, it's against the rules. But if I say you needn't get a visa, that's good news. It means it's not necessary, you don't have to worry about it. You can see how mixing those two up could lead to some pretty big problems.
All right, time to tackle our final topic for today, the infamous double negative. You've definitely heard someone say something like, I can't see nothing, and maybe you wondered, wait, is that right?
Michael Swan explains this perfectly. In standard English, words like nobody, nothing, and never already have the no baked right into them. They do the whole job all by themselves. So adding another negative like not is just overkill. One no is enough.
Now, in lots of English dialects, using multiple negatives is totally normal. It's just a way to add emphasis. But if you're aiming for standard English, especially in writing, you make a little switch. I couldn't see nobody becomes I couldn't see anybody. And don't tell them nothing becomes don't tell them anything. The trick is, once you have an ent, you swap the no word for an any word. So let's wrap this all up with a quick cheat sheet. If there's no helper verb, call on do. For a negative command, just start with don't. Always remember, mustn't means forbidden, needn't means not necessary, and finally, for standard English, one negative word per thought is all you need. And there you have it, the art of saying no with verbs. It's not about memorizing a million exceptions, it's just about understanding a few key principles. So now that you're armed with all the rules, the only question is, which no are you going to use next?